Call the Board of Public Works meeting of Monday, November 2nd to order. Number 2, approval of minutes of October 19th. Motion by Mr. Fire, second by Mr. Rosendich. Comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Citizens' comments, I see staff members here, so we'll move on to construction update presented by Chris Hawley, Street Superintendent. Chris.
Good evening, everybody. Almost dropped that. As always, I like to kind of start out with a staff update. As you'll hear more tomorrow, we do have one retirement that was announced a week ago. Kurt Bornbach, after 34 years of service to the city, has decided to retire, and I'm going to thank him tomorrow night too, but after 34 years, you'll never find another guy that's more knowledgeable or passionate about the city than Kurt. He'll be dearly missed. We do have one EO1 position open, and we are going to offer that position to a person tomorrow for that. So with that, also another announcement, I think I announced at the last Board of Public Works, we had a state inspector come in and do a building safety audit last Monday or two Mondays ago. Everything went really well. We had one minor thing to do, and she sent us the orders, and we had pretty much already had it fixed and sent her back an email saying it was fixed. She said, oh, that was fast. So that's all closed out. Big shout out to Sean from MEUW, who kind of walked us along what a safety audit would look like, to Jen Rayq and Craig Brock and Justin Butcher, our two fleet supervisors and assistant fleet supervisor, who pretty much took the bull by the horns and did everything that was needed to pass the inspection. Like I said, everything was nothing major. We had to put some stickers on our brine tanks that said confined space entry, and that was it. So went really well. Tonight, construction update. I was hoping to give you more of a wrap up tonight for the construction season. But I'll do that the next meeting, kind of give you an overall what we did, how many more lane miles that we milled and replaced, and did concrete overlay streets. But due to some unseasonably cold weather late 2 weeks ago and moisture, it shut down the American asphalt last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That was 2 weeks ago. They were back in town on Monday only to get shut down due to the current circumstances we're all been dealing with at the moment with the pandemic. They scrambled, got back in here Thursday and Friday, paved, did some more paving. But as you can tell, it's kind of up in the air. We are confident that everything's going to get done. Kurt is in constant contact with American Asphalt 2, 3, 4 times a day to try and get a schedule to see what we can get done. So right now, just came from Kurt this afternoon. As of now, we don't have a paving crew until Wednesday, and they'll be on South Central to pave half that on Wednesday. We will clean up the other lane on Thursday, and they'll pave that other half on Friday. And that will just give us Hume Avenue was a mill and replace project that needs its surface coat yet. And we're hoping to get that done on Saturday or Friday. And then that basically just leaves us with some asphalt patches throughout the city that we have open right now that we need to clean up and get repaved. So it was a long summer. Like I said, we were hoping to have everything wrapped up, but things are not progressing right now with the COVID problem that we have. From there, this week, actually, we're starting to transition from our construction season to our winter operations. We have salters to get ready. We need to calibrate those. All the salters are on the trucks right now. We just have to calibrate them. Most of the wings are put on the big trucks right now. We have a few left to go. And sideboards. We got alleys to grade and trim, Christmas decorations to put up, sandboxes to put out, benches and trash receptacles to pick up after the parade, continue pothole patching, inventory and organize the backyard supplies, and run our routes for obstructions for the plow trucks. So like I said, it's kind of an iffy time right now, but we're confident that we'll get everything done.
Any questions for Chris? Mr. Fire?
I have a question on the alley down by,
Yep.
Somebody
Turn your
asked
mic
me
on.
about those two drains. There's one low and one high. How are you gonna do that?
Very much the way it was, and I couldn't tell you what the reasoning was back in the day when they put the two in there, but it should match in there pretty
Because
good.
it used to be, it was a dip.
Yeah, so I haven't gone out and field checked it to give you a really
It's
good
about-
answer, but
That one is about that much lower than the
Yeah.
other one, and they're not that far apart.
yeah.
Somebody asked me, and I said, I haven't got
Yeah.
an answer, but I'd ask.
We're not really changing the grade there, so not real sure without going out there and taking a look at it.
Okay.
Anybody else? Hey, thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Next, we'll have Tom Turchy, city engineer. Tom?
All right, our big project, Cleveland Street, Daggy to Central. That project is now complete. In the agenda I submitted, I have the before and after pictures that were taken when the project started, and pictures that were taken here last week. So you can kind of see the before and after for the entire project. And the sanitary sewer interceptor relocation project for the Van de Hey Waters Aquatic Center. Big manhole has been poured, the roof has been placed. The last manhole is supposed to be delivered here yet this week, and then they'll be finishing up the bypass and the placement of that last manhole. And then it's basically then filling and abandoning some of the old system that's out there. So that project is moving along very well. Sanitary sewer lining contract. They're basically 98% complete with this project. They've done all the lining that was scheduled for this year. They just need to come back and do the air testing and the grouting of the lateral connections. Downwind Drive Central to Cherry, that was a water main project where they were, water utility was carrying or bringing a water service across to create a loop system, and all that remains on that are pavement repairs. And then finally, Oak Avenue, where we had a storm sewer that had rusted through and we had a sinkhole show up over the top of the pipe. That project was completed last week also, and it's been topsoil seeded, and that one is done. If there are any questions, I'm here for answering
Mr.
questions.
Bargender?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I'm looking at these pictures of the Cleveland Street project, and I'm just amazed at the difference in curb appeal for those homes. It just looks like a different neighborhood. I mean, it just modernized it. Before it looked like a dull and dingy, and I know the homes haven't changed, but wow, the street improvements have just brightened that whole neighborhood up, and it really much added to the curb appeal. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Go ahead.
And thanks for my staff for the great job they did, Tim and Lance and Sean and Josh and James. They all did a great job of getting this project done and done on time.
Anybody else have any questions for Tom? Hey, Dan?
I don't normally have updates, but I have a couple things to share tonight. First, I had mentioned to the council, I believe earlier this summer, that Marshall Utilities was going to paint some of the decorative streetlight poles on Veterans Parkway. They're green now, and they've been in place for almost 20 years, so it's time for repainting. They decided with the good weather this week, they're going to get started on that, pulling out a bunch of poles, starting on the south side of Veterans Parkway, paint those poles, let them cure, and then get them back in place. And depending on how the weather goes in the next few weeks, they'll get as many done this fall as they can. So if you see some poles coming down on Veterans Parkway, that's what the utility is up to. The second thing, with our garbage and refuse or recycling contract, we were made aware of that there was a buyout of Advanced Disposal. Waste Management has acquired Advanced Disposal. Just talked to Dale Marth, our contact with Advanced this afternoon. So obviously nothing will change with our city contract. We have a long-term contract with Advanced Disposal. Waste Management will pick that up and continue it as if, nothing changed. We will see over time, though, change in signage and truck decals and that kind of thing. Dale thought there'd be more information coming out in the next couple of weeks on that. But in case you hear something about it, it's true that Waste Management has acquired Advanced Disposal.
Any questions for Dan? Okay, thank you, Dan and Tom. Number 5, plan review and authorization to seek bids for the Mannville Lift Station Replacement Project presented by Sam Warp, Wastewater Superintendent. Sam.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Mannville Lift Station was installed in 1980 and it's been in continuous service for the last 40 years. It actually operates fairly well. It still has old style pumps which plug with disposable wipes that should not be flushed. So we got that in the CIP in 2017. And this year, in January, we went out for RFPs and we had 3 engineering firms bid on the project. And it was awarded to Strand Associates. And Randy Langer from Strand is actually on the Zoom. He called in also, so if you have any technical questions on the lift station, he'll be there to answer them for you. We did include a few pictures of the plan design. I mean, obviously there's many pages, but we just Dan threw in a couple of them that we can go through. And I don't know if they'll come up on the screen or not. Otherwise, I can just kind of talk you through.
Go ahead.
All right. One of the things you'll notice on that station, all right, it's at the intersection of Highway 13, Mann Street, and Mannville Lane. So there's actually like roads on 3 sides of it there. It's at the very last stoplight on your way going out to Spencer. And it's just a little can station. The majority of the lift station is all below ground. And we have the lot that sits on, and we recently purchased, last year, we purchased a lot right next to it from the county. So our actual disturbed area is going to go onto that other lot a little bit, but the lift station itself is going to stay on the current lot it is when it's all done. We're switching it from an old wet well, dry well, which meant that had confined space entry. Every time somebody had to go check it, we had to send multiple people and you had to have safety equipment, still do. We'll be switching that to a submersible station. And one thing that Randy and his team was pretty instrumental at is we did 8th Street a few years ago, and we had to put a whole new wet well in because that one was really deteriorated and it was not deep enough. And Randy did all the cost analysis. They looked at it and they said, your current wet well is still good shape. They had many pictures. They inspected it. There's no cracks. Concrete's in good shape. So we're actually going to reuse that. And by doing that, I mean, just the cost of the wet well itself is going to save about $40,000. So would we like a new one? Yes, we would like a new one. But in reality, we don't need a new one. And that's what Randy was trying to get across to us. So we're going to go with his recommendation and use that. It's going to be all new controls, new pumps. We're going to have a flow meter there for the first time. Where we're using the current valve vault, converting it to a flow meter vault. That was another recommendation that Strand had. So that'll save us some more money in the project. We are going to put a generator out there. It's one of those things, geez, do you really need it or not? But whenever you need it is when you really need it. So when things are really going wrong, that's when you need the generator and it'll be there. So before we had to drag equipment out there and the pumps and it, you really wish people were working on basement backups instead of a lift station at that point. So big improvement for saving on future manpower needs too. So we're going to reuse one of the existing driveway the way it is. Randy came up with a neat concept that all the snow is going to get plowed to one side. So the lift station will be on one side of the road and all the snow will get piled on the other side. So there's only a minimal amount of shoveling snow in the wintertime there. So again, trying to just save costs in the long run. Otherwise, I guess it's in the end, it's still going to be another lift station. We only have 4 in Marshfield, which is very nice to have so few. I guess to sum it all up then, I'd recommend approval of the plans and replacement of the Mannville lift station and authorize to proceed with the bidding process.
Motion by Mr. Fisher, second by Mr. Bargender. Questions for Sam or Randy? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Number 6, approval of updated engineering division fee schedule presented by Tom Turchi, city engineer. Tom.
On January 1st, Development Services will be implementing a new Evolves permitting software. The engineering division will be transitioning a majority of our permits into the new format. Therefore, some changes to the fee structure were necessary to simplify the administration within the Evolve permitting software. Fees changed are based upon personal time and materials necessary to provide these services. So therefore, there's just a few things that were changed from the previous setup. The first one was stormwater permits for erosion control, which are sites that are less than an acre. That went from $20 to $25. And then to simplify the non-residential and industrial greater than 1 acre that includes stormwater management plans was $100 per site plus $25 per acre. And the residential subdivision plats greater than 1 acre that require a stormwater management plan were $100 per site plus $25 per lot. And none of those fees will exceed $500. And then finally, overweight, oversized loads, try to simplify this a little bit for a single day is $10 versus $20. And then per month, we went from $80 to $100. So there are I recommend the fees as noted in the above to be added to the 2021 fee schedule.
Motion by Mr. Fire. Second by Mr. Fisher. Questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 7, recommended items for future agendas. Anybody have anything? I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Rosendich, second by Mr. Bargander. Thank you. We are adjourned.